Hi, welcome back to La Belle Vie. I just wanted to get on here real quick and do a quick summary of my thoughts on this morning's motion hearing on the order to show cause regarding the Adelsons' failure to comply with the state's investigative subpoena. Now, if you haven't already heard, the court did order that the Adelsons must comply and be present for an interview that is scheduled for October 17th. Now, at the beginning of the hearing, the court first addressed the Adelsons' attorney and asked her specifically if she was aware of the Florida rules of professional responsibility and the duty of candor to the court to disclose all adverse authority. And so what that means in layman's terms is that as an officer of the court, when you file a motion, if there is controlling or mandatory authority or case law, you must disclose it to the court. You can't hide behind it. And in fact, it's not even good advocacy to hide it. You need to include it in your motion and distinguish it. So in any event, when I saw on ML's channel this morning, Deep Dive to Crime, and I'll link the video below, he explained that there is a U.S. Supreme Court case that of course is binding on Florida courts that addressed this specific issue directly. And that is the Murphy versus Waterfront Commission case. Now, under the Murphy case, basically what it holds is that if you're offered immunity under a state law, then that whatever you say in connection with that immunity cannot be used against you in a federal proceeding. So basically, it completely addressed the concern that the Adelsons' attorney raised in their motion. So therefore, their motion is moot. The Supreme Court has addressed it. There is no concern by the Adelsons if they comply with the state subpoena and its immunity, then all of a sudden they're going to be charged based on something they say under that state subpoena. They're not going to be charged in federal law based on their statements. They basically did not disclose this case and a case in the circuit where Charlie's case is pending that follows that U.S. Supreme Court case. So not only did they not cite a U.S. Supreme Court case, they didn't cite controlling authority in the jurisdiction. The court was clearly not pleased with that. Now, the Adelsons in the argument tried to use another case that was in a different circuit and not binding on the judge and the court in this instance, in this trial. The judge was having none of it. He dismissed that argument. So therefore, the court ruled that the Adelsons must appear under the state subpoena, which provides immunity, and the parties confirmed that would be held on October 17th. Now, what was interesting is that the Adelsons' attorney then tried to ask for a stay. And a stay is basically a pause in the proceedings, to protect, she said, for the protection of her clients. And in my view, my personal opinion, that makes no sense based on the argument. There is a Supreme Court case that the judge just told you about that says if you get state immunity, your concern about federal is a non-concern. It doesn't apply. It's not an issue. So again, the judge was having none of that. He's denied her stay. I don't think she heard that clearly, because then she started arguing, well, if you don't agree to my stay, and the judge said, no hem-hawing about it. I'm not agreeing. The stay is denied. And so he said to the Adelsons' attorney, either you're going to produce your clients for the interview under the state subpoena and its corresponding immunity, or I'm going to issue a writ of bodily attachment to bring the Adelsons personally to Tallahassee, and we'll have our contempt proceedings here in Tallahassee. The Adelsons' attorney, of course, at that point was like, no, I'll produce them. And in my opinion, she definitely seemed nervous. I mean, you could tell, I don't know if she just didn't know that the Supreme Court case existed. I mean, I didn't know it existed, but this isn't my client. In fact, I would have expected it to be in that motion. So then the court turned to the defense and the state for their comments. And so Rashbaum, I don't think he read the room very well. I mean, I know he was on Zoom and all, but he started reiterating his arguments from his motion to enforce the discovery deadline that the court already denied. And he said, I know you denied it, but that was like one little sentence. But basically, he just went off on the entire argument that he had in his motion again. In my opinion, I don't think that sat very well with the court. And in fact, the judge reminded him, I already ruled on that motion. God, I love this judge. This judge is so no nonsense. I love it. So then he tried to then do what I thought he was going to do, is say, okay, well, then I'll just take him off the witness list. And he's like, well, this is all just gamesmanship anyway. I'll just take them off the witness list. But the judge was like, well, okay, that's fine. But that doesn't mean the state doesn't want to talk to them. So then he turned to the state. Georgia said, look, the Adelsons have never agreed to talk with the state. So we've never had an opportunity to talk with them. And she said, and also she denied that she was engaging in any gamesmanship. And in fact, she said, look, I've been trying to talk to them and figure out what their position was on the Fifth Amendment much earlier than the last day of the discovery deadline. So she completely denied she was engaging in games that Rashbaum accused her of. And that was it. Then the court said, fine, my ruling stands. They need to appear. And that's the ruling. And if things happen differently from then, we'll go from there. I think that was the judge's way of saying, look, if they don't appear, someone will tell me. So anyway, what did you guys think? I thought it was fascinating. Just still waiting for that ruling on the defense's motion to suppress the wiretaps. That is so important, guys. So don't worry. I will post something on my community tab as soon as we get a ruling on that. And of course, I'll do another video. But in the meantime, thank you so much for joining, and I hope to see you in my next one. Bye.